One of the things that was interesting, Susie, is the conversation I have with people before we hit record. And you were saying that you were looking to get on more podcasts. I thought
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting considering what you're doing on YouTube and all that.
Well, just because like I listened to some podcasts and they're just up and coming so much the last couple of years. And I feel like I've seen other people be on podcasts and just talking about what they do and stuff. And I was like, it'd be really cool to just like talk about it with someone who is interested in whatever. So yeah, so I don't know, it literally was just a random thought. I was like, it'd be kind of cool to be on a podcast one day, and then like 2 months later I got your email, so I was like, okay, this is funny. So yeah.
I just find it interesting people haven't reached out to you about being on a podcast.
Well, I feel like I've had maybe one person reach out, but if their podcast is something completely like has nothing to do with what I do, or like it's not super like you said, your stuff is pretty random, which is awesome. I mean, you can literally talk to whoever, which is cool. But some people I'm like, wait, why do you want me on your podcast? You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, but I don't know, I feel like this fit. So I was really excited. So yeah. Also, I don't know, like my YouTube does have a lot of people, but I don't know if like maybe they don't see my email or what, because I don't know. I'm like, are they even reading my descriptions? But you know how people can be on there. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I haven't been on YouTube that long, actually. I mean, my podcast has been around for almost 4 years now,
Yeah.
but I recently just got into YouTube like March of
Hmm.
last year. So it was all audio for a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, I don't know, video. I mean, if people really want to see me and other people, I know it's like,
So I will say, like, I listen to some podcasts and I love having the video option. Like sometimes I don't care to watch it, but if I'm like at the gym or something, I'm not really watching it unless I'm like on an elliptical or treadmill or
yeah.
something. But it's kind of nice to put the voice to the person, and um but I feel like a lot of people that might be driving and they're not watching a video, but it is nice sometimes. I think the majority don't watch video, but there's a lot that do. So it's good to have a little the option for it, I guess. Have you heard of the podcast Your Mom's House before?
Oh,
They
what is that?
so Tom Segura, he's a comedian, and
Okay, I know him. Yeah.
okay, so it's his podcast. So it's him and his wife, and they have a YouTube channel with video of them, but they also have their stuff on other platforms where it's like if you just want the audio as well. But they do pretty well for like the video on YouTube. And then I don't know if they put the whole podcast on there, but it's a good like snippet, and then so I think that'd be good for you. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
far it's been really good. I mean, I feel like ever since I started it, it's grown nicely. It's very
Right.
steady. It's, very even. I mean, you gotta kind of work through the whole machine of it and stuff.
Yes.
But I've gotten better with it and the thumbnails, and now I have like great production with it and
Right.
audio. So it feels good. But like I was scrolling through YouTube, which I don't do often. I'm not a
Yeah.
big, but I was like, okay, and it just, health fitness, it's my profession. And
Yep.
then you came up on there. I was
Nice.
like, Susie Ray Yoga. I was like, okay, let me check this out. You know, and then it just you to lead you down a whole bunch of
Yeah.
yoga rabbit holes and
Yeah.
stuff.
The whole rabbit hole.
Huge. And yours was just different to me. It was
Yeah.
like I'd
Well,
seen
thank
a lot of yoga
you.
people on there, and there
Well,
was
I
something off to me about it. I don't know. Yours was different to me.
so yeah, I've only been on YouTube for like less than 2 years. Like I created a channel in like during COVID of 2020, and I posted a couple of videos and then like stopped, like didn't post anything for a year. And then when I posted literally a year later, one of my videos just started to get views like a month after I posted it, and that's where the traction started, and I just have kind of ran with it, and now that's like my main source of income. Like I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah, isn't that
Which is
funny?
cool to say. Yeah, yeah. But I wasn't expecting that to really happen. It was kind of just like, let's see, and I've learned a lot over the last 2 years when it comes to like their algorithm, editing content, having my own like little style and how I want to do things. And yeah, it's been really cool. I have a few other girls that I know that like are also on YouTube, and they kind of do similar stuff, but my whole thing is like, you know, self-love, being comfortable with yourself. And I also really care about like the music that goes behind it.
Mm,
I'm very picky and selective about the background music. And I love to just like promote movement is medicine, really. Like
yeah.
I really truly feel like yoga's for everyone. So
Yeah. What's interesting about the podcast thing with you is like, obviously you have like a lot of views on there and stuff and subscribers, but I always think like there's a person behind that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you're doing the yoga videos and stuff, they're really well done. And I know I've seen you do like a couple kind of like your day in the life type of thing. You're waking
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
like this is a different format for people to know who you are.
Yes. And I don't ever talk a lot like on my
Right.
platforms, like ever. So people are going to be like, wait, she's actually like talking on video. Like we can like have more than just a 30-second snippet, you know.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I don't talk a lot on my stories. Like, I don't know why. I like sometimes have, but like it's never super consistent or longer than like 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, she's mysterious. Like, what is she doing over there? But that's another reason why I wanted to be on a podcast, actually, because I was like, I think people would enjoy to just learn a little bit more and actually see me talk and know that like, yeah, I'm a real person. I'm not just a little content creator, which I'm not just an influencer, whatever words you want to use. But it's interesting because like I think part of why I haven't talked so much is just because I'm a pretty private person, but I love talking about my business and yoga and just like, you know, whatever. So I am super appreciative that you reached out because I feel like it fits for both of us. So
Yeah, yeah. I actually, it was funny when I first came across your YouTube channel and I'm looking through the videos, I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Like, and
exactly,
and I was
literally.
like, wait a minute, if you know, when you had your email on there, which I want to talk to you about that because I think that's also a little different.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, this could be an interesting opportunity to explore who this person is, and then they
Yeah.
have a different entry point on their page about who they are on
Yes.
that.
Like even my recent A Day in My Life vlog, that is like a completely different, that was my
Yeah.
first vlog I've ever done. And a lot of people were like, it's really cool to just see what you do because literally all I've ever posted on YouTube is just yoga classes. And so
Yeah.
all they hear is my voice, not me talking though, and it's just me practicing. And so it'll be different. Like I think people really enjoy to just learn a little bit more, hear a little
Yeah,
more.
I mean, imagine someone goes to your YouTube page and they see you having like an interview conversation,
Mhm.
which is not what they ever see.
Not the norm.
Right, is
No.
not the norm. And that's kind of what for my thing is I want to explore who people are. And that's what I've
Yeah.
been doing for like 530 episodes, just like meeting people and
Right.
learning. And one thing I wanted to talk about is because I was, how do you perceive kind of this influencer YouTuber perception that people have about you and people that are making income off of YouTube, you know?
Um, so it's kind of, I mean, I would go back and forth, right? Like I love that I can create content and it's like passive income and it's like my main source of income. I can be anywhere in the world and do that. But I do feel kind of weird calling myself like a YouTuber or an influencer. I feel even weird saying content creator, but that to me sounds a little more like a professional. And not even then, it's like it's not even, but and I do think people judge. Like I've had people comment and even say things like, so this is what it's like to not have a real job or like things
uh,
of that nature. But it's usually more on the positive side. Like a lot of people are very like, you know, appreciative of content and stuff. But yeah. And also, like I said earlier, like I'm a pretty private person. So like to be in the spotlight like that, like getting millions of views, sometimes it's just kind
yeah.
of, oh wow, like that really, like I'm out there. And even though it's like a different type of like fame though, like internet fame is so different than like, you know, like real life fame, I guess, like movies, music, and all that. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think I'll be on YouTube for a while. Like, I really love it, but it's been kind of a struggle with me, not gonna lie, like trying to balance between how much do I want to put out there for people and growing my brand in the same way, you know? So, but hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I actually don't think a lot of people probably think about that answer that you just said.
Yeah.
I think they have a perception of someone who has a lot of followers or subscribers,
Yep.
views, and they think a certain way
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like for me, like I reached out also because like, you do yoga, but you actually are educated, with it. It's not like you're just out there doing yoga because you're like, oh, I love
Right.
yoga. It's like, like
Yeah.
yeah, which is
Yes, no.
important.
Right. And I think that's what has drawn a lot of people to my channel actually, because like, if you watch one of my videos, your algorithm is then going to show you a bunch of yoga videos.
That's right.
And a lot of those videos, it is just chicks doing yoga and they're like
Yes.
just stretching and whatever.
The
And
stretching stuff is
that's all
crazy.
they're doing. And it's
What the
like,
hell is that?
I can't even, I literally tell some people, I'm like, just so you know, when you subscribe to my channel, your algorithm's gonna get a little wonky
Yeah.
because the people that are watching my stuff, some of them are there to actually practice with me, but a lot of people just like watching yoga, which is totally fine.
Hmm.
But a lot of people have commented, they're like, I love that you actually teach a class, like you're actually leading us through. And because a lot of people, they just post their practice, which is fine. Like I have a couple videos like that, but I like providing an actual class for people and to actually do the yoga. Like, yes, it's aesthetically pleasing and fun to watch, but yeah, that is something that has drawn people to my channel. They say stuff all the time. They'll be like, I was trying to find a yoga video that's like for what I'm looking for, and you finally popped up. I'm like, well, good to hear. Glad to have you.
Yeah, it just like the stretching thing's strange to me.
Yes.
I mean, listen, do your thing, whatever your thing, you're
Yes.
not hurting anybody, whatever, but it's like
Right.
it's obvious it's not an actual practice. Like it's just like
Right.
people being provocative and
Mm-hmm.
putting their body in different positions and stretching. I'm like,
And they're just like banking off the views because they can get
right.
paid and whatever. And it's like I get it, but at one point there was a while there for like about a year ago where I've always posted classes, but I definitely like kind of catered on the little sexy side at one point. And then I was just like, I don't even want to be doing that only. Like
Yeah.
I want to actually teach, so I just started to only do that, and my pages just continue to keep growing and growing and growing.
Yes.
And I also think like a lot of the people that first came to my channel, they weren't planning on doing yoga. And then once they see me post it over and over again, and I say things like, you should try it, even if you're a guy or you feel like you're not flexible or whatever. And I think some of them actually do. And that's why they have kept coming back too. It's like they weren't expecting to actually do it, but then they ended up doing it. And I do have women on my channel too, but there's a lot of guys. So
That's a good so it's
yeah.
interesting because on YouTube it tells you the whole analytics, the
Yeah.
demographics. So was the
Yeah.
demographics heavily men or women?
Heavily. It's like that on all of my social platforms, but YouTube actually has more women in my demographics versus men in comparison to like my Instagram, for instance. But which is kind of like I don't care, right? But I do want more women on my page because I'm like, you guys really are the ones that mainly practice yoga. But a
Yeah.
lot of stuff I post though is beginner friendly. So there's probably a lot of girls that practice yoga but maybe want more advanced classes, and I could totally post that too. I just haven't really yet. But I think a lot of like guys are like, this is basic and I can do it. So that's
Yeah.
also why they're there. And of course they'd like to watch like a girl do yoga. So,
Okay, let's get into this. Okay, because
yes.
this is no holds barred here, Suzie.
Yes.
We're not gonna be afraid to say stuff here. Okay,
Okay.
we can
Okay.
say anything. But I
Yes.
mean, there has to be, if we're being honest, right? There's a demographic of guys who are just watching you do yoga,
Yes. And
a beautiful woman do yoga.
Yes, and I definitely play off of that because I know that it's where the views come in too.
Right.
And you know, I have like a self-love series on my YouTube and I'm in a bikini for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Of course they're gonna want to watch that, but I'm
Yeah.
also like on a beach and it's 85-degree weather. Like I'm not gonna not be in a bikini, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so yes, definitely there's a lot of guys that are just on there and just watching, and that honestly can take a toll on my mental health a lot just because people are rude on there a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Very judgmental. And so I mean I'm at the point where I block people. I'm like block,
Yeah.
block, block. You don't get to, you can watch still, but you don't get to comment like
Right.
means
Right.
um but I've just had to like tell myself like if I'm gonna be putting content online, like I have to like have thicker skin and be okay with it. But yeah, it is kind of interesting. And you can tell too, like if you just scroll through my comments, it's majority men. So like, you know,
Right.
most people know like a lot of those views are coming from guys. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, whatever, you keep watching, guys. I hope one of
Yeah.
these days you actually practice with me. So because it would be beneficial. And some guys will comment and they'll be like, oh my God, thank you so much. This was great for my morning routine, yada, yada. And that's really what keeps me going, to
Yeah.
be honest. So yeah.
I like your honesty about it. You know, it's
Yeah.
I think it's really important because like on my YouTube, it's almost all guys. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And it's like, but I have a lot of women on that I interview, not because I'm trying to do that, it's just how it works
It's
out.
how it is. Right.
Yeah, just how it works out, different things, what it's interesting. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where are the women at on YouTube? Like,
I
where the hell are they?
Man, okay, so that's the thing is as a woman, okay, like I'm like, what do I like to watch on YouTube? Like
Yeah,
that's what I had to think of. And that was actually kind of what led me towards doing a little vlog about like a day in my life. Because I like to watch content like that, or I like to watch like fashion type videos, like more
mhm,
girl stuff, I guess, like clothing, makeup, skincare. And it's just if a girl's cute with a nice body, guys are just going to be there. Even if she's
sure.
just cute talking to a camera, like you don't even have to see her body, guys are going to be there. So like it's like kind of like
This is the real stuff here.
yeah, and it's YouTube, it's free. So it's like
Yeah.
that's where I think a lot of those guys that are trying to just look at a cute girl, listen, whatever they're looking for, why would they not go to YouTube? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like millions of videos for free at their expense. You know, they can just watch whatever. And that's like kind of the crazy part about YouTube. It is free and then you get paid off ads. Like that still blows my mind to this day that I get paid through ads. Like I'm just like, how is that even a thing? You know what I mean? But I think that's what keeps people on that platform. You know, it's like you get free content, you got to watch 15-second ad maybe to see the free I mean, that's, you know, so
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're all honest, like a lot of people want to be where you're at with your
I
page. I just
think
don't think we should deny that. It's like I have my podcast on I mean, listen, I own two businesses and I don't need to do YouTube,
yeah.
but I'm just, with my podcast is a passion project. But would I mind if it became monetized? No, of
Right,
course not.
exactly.
Of course I wouldn't mind for that.
Right. You should stick with it because I mean, you just even the fact that you have a podcast, like people will want to see the
Yeah.
visuals. And it really all it takes on there is like one video popping off and then
Mhm.
it just keeps going. I know it can seem like what is it? The requirements on there, it's like 4,000 watch hours or
Yeah.
something. That can feel like a lot to like accomplish. You can get maybe 1,000 subscribers quickly, maybe not even, but even if you get that, it's like that 4,000 watch hours can be
Yeah.
tedious. But if one video, like I said, gets even just the slight traction, you'll hit that pretty quick. And then YouTube can just be like another source of income. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
already are doing the podcast themselves, so why not just throw the videos
Yeah,
on
it's
there?
just a why not thing. And then, for me as I've done it, I'm connecting with people like yourself and different
Yeah,
things who are on there. And it's just another opportunity, you know. And I think another great reason is in being, I'm on committees for fitness and wellness with fitness organizations, and I would say, and you're part of this industry, obviously, but I think there's a good chunk of people in the fitness and wellness industry who look at a YouTuber like you and they're jealous of you. And they're
Yes.
thinking like, wow, you're not really part of our business because you're making, I don't look at it that way. My thing is I need to get closer to people who are YouTubers and say,
Yeah.
this is just another way of doing
Right.
things, and open that,
Absolutely.
bring that, to close that divide. We need to close that divide with people, you know?
I agree. Yeah, people, it's hard, like, because people just, humans make assumptions anyway, but then like really when it comes to like social media, there's just a stigma, so
Yeah.
people are just very off-putting sometimes. But it really is your mindset towards it. It's like people could switch that and look at it differently. But I feel you. But I'm glad to hear you have more of a positive mindset towards it, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
only going to benefit you and your business.
It's
So
just another opportunity. And I think like we've spent so much time, I can speak on this from all these like committee meetings and stuff, is we sit on these meetings. I sit in these big meetings, idea fitness and all this stuff. And we go, oh, we need to take the industry back from the influencers and stuff. I'm like, no, 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 no. You know what? We need to get closer to them. We need to, they're
yes,
doing something we're not doing. And
yes,
I mean, me, I'm not trying. And it's funny, it's not like you were trying either. That's the whole thing. It's not like you were trying to do this, you
yeah.
know?
And I think too, people like real people
Yeah.
talking about things, like if they want to buy something, they would probably rather hear it from an influencer that didn't even get paid to talk about it, rather than someone who works for the company, because it's like it feels more real and authentic. And I think COVID has really pushed the whole influencer content creation more so than ever before, and it's only going to get bigger, and more people are starting to become content creators.
Yeah.
And like that is something I've noticed, is like, again, like, what is stuff that I like to consume? Why do I like to watch that? And it really comes down to being authentic and feeling like the person through the screen is like a real person, and
Yes,
that's huge. It is huge.
it
So the
is.
companies need to be getting closer. Like you said, they don't need to be like competing, because that is not gonna win, and I think that's where like brand partnerships obviously are great for them and whatever. But yeah, I could see companies being like that though.
Yeah.
Hey, they're ruining the industry or whatever.
Honestly, it's a lot of educated people like myself. Like I have my doctorate, and you have a lot of very formally educated, intelligent people in that sense, and they're working in kind of the medical aspect of health, fitness, and wellness. And they just have a disconnect. They
Yeah.
see like the skin, they see the advertisements, and it doesn't jive with them. And I'm not gonna lie, like I used to think that way a long time. I used to think like that, but then I was like, you know what? Let me check myself. I need to check myself. And I'm
Right, right.
like, I need to do what I do in my podcast. I need to just meet people and I need to talk to them and I
Yeah.
need to understand it. And like, I don't think anybody would ever think if they looked at your YouTube page and go, oh yeah, Suzie, she meant to do this. Like you're basically saying it was not a thing for you.
No, so like it's crazy, because if you look at my page now, like it might even, I could see why someone looks at it and they're like, she like meant to do this or whatever.
Sure.
But I've deleted a lot of videos, like, what was it, like 4 or 5 months ago? I just like deleted or made them private or whatever, trying to like switch gears slightly. And um I feel like I could see why me only having 30 videos on my page with over 200,000 subscribers, like people are like, wait a second, she clearly knows, yes, I know what I'm doing, but like I didn't for a long time. And
Yeah.
I just kind of was posting things that, like I don't even do any crazy editing or anything with
Right.
my, I do very, like, I don't need to really, because it's like, you can't really edit a yoga video like that
Yeah.
you're teaching, but adding voiceovers and the music, all that is so
Yeah.
time consuming. But like, yeah, people probably, I mean, a lot of people that have been there from the beginning could probably tell like this was just another avenue that she like went with. But like this time last year, I was not, my main source of income wasn't really coming from YouTube. So I'm just now focused on YouTube so much because it is my main source. And I love that I can create videos and just
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
I love it. You know, it's just, I can't beat this feeling. Like when I was looking through your thing, I was like, I feel like we need to know who this person is. And I
So
just kept thinking that. I went through a lot of yoga pages as I went through that wormhole, and it
yeah,
just didn't seem as relatable to me. And
yeah.
but you did. Even everything, your website is
Oh,
super
I love that.
simple. Your
Yep.
website's so simple. But again,
It's
it
the
was the
point.
same thing though. The website doesn't tell you who Suzie is,
No.
you know?
I'm literally like just that yoga girl,
Yeah.
like I literally, my brand has really been focused around yoga and my music taste. Like my Instagram's what popped off first, and like I collect vinyl, and that those two things really brought people to my page. Now YouTube, it can get a little tricky because of their copyright music stuff. So I
Yeah.
don't use the music I want to, but I use stuff that I still like to listen to and things that are still within that realm. And a lot of people, like, I like kind of being a little more mysterious on there. Like, yeah, I'm not going to give you guys it all, but it is like nice to give them a little bit more of me, because people literally are probably like, I don't know anything about her. She literally just does yoga all day,
Yeah.
every day, and that's it. Like,
Maybe this is the beginning of
I
this for
think,
you.
yeah, I think this would be great. Honestly, some people have even told me, they're like, you people that are close to me and that know me well, I'm a talker. Like I love to talk. About like a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of opinions on things, and they're like, why don't you have a podcast? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I can. I'm like, what would I talk about? Who do
That's
I interview?
funny.
Whatever. But so I don't think I will ever have one. But I think people would listen just to see
Yeah.
me talk, because I don't ever do that, like I said
Yeah.
earlier. So yeah, it is funny though, because I'm very picky about what I post online. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's kind of curated a bit, but also though, when it comes to being like a successful influencer, people got to get a little bit more out of you. They don't only, like, the ones that are super successful, people feel like they know a little bit, or they're
Yeah.
like they've already met them even though they haven't. So that
Yeah.
is, another mental note that I keep in
Yeah. What
mind.
I gather, I feel like you're on this edge where like
I am.
you want to go for it, but then you're like you have some reservations
Hmm.
at the same time. And I don't think I would have thought that about you just
Yeah.
from looking at.
I think a lot of people get shocked, and I'm just going to be so straight up. Like, I think people get shocked once I open my mouth and start talking. And I hate to say it that way, but like, I've had people just say certain things to me where like, I'm like, what did you expect me to just be like stupid or like
Right.
annoying or like, and I just think like people have this like perception of cute girl influencer, shows her body online, she's just a typical another whatever, and I'm always just like, yeah, they should probably hear me talk a little bit, because they have a
Yeah.
completely different perception. But it's hard. Like I struggle just because like I'm a private person, but I do like sharing yoga, and it's done so much for me that I'm like, I want to share this practice with other people so they can do great things for them. But like, I can picture myself never having social media, like deleting my stuff one day, having a house out with like land and just my husband and kids and just hanging out, you know what I mean? Like I could see myself doing that one day, years down the line, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So it's tough. Like I go back and forth for sure. At the same time, I used to work at a bank for 6 years, and I cannot imagine ever going back to that type of lifestyle. So, so I am thankful for like where I'm at and what I've created. It is just like kind of an internal struggle a little. And I still like am like, do I want to like fully go for it, because I do think I could be really, really successful.
Yeah.
It's just hard having a lot of eyes on you, it's like
Yeah.
already with the amount that I do, it's fine, but it's like people are mean. So
Yeah.
if they want to be, they will be. So, like people like to spread negativity a lot, especially like behind a screen. They'd rather do that than be positive. Human nature, it's like just shut it. You know what I mean? But you're right, I'm definitely on like this little edge kind
Yeah.
of.
Because I mean, you do have great content, and then you see like my wife does yoga with Adrian on
She's
there,
great, love
and
her.
she's like 10 million plus,
I know,
strike
it's so
insane levels, right?
insane
Like you could possibly get to something like that, but it's going to change your life in a weird way. It's
in a
going
weird
to.
way. Yeah. And that's tough, like, and I sometimes look at her channel just for like inspiration because she's so great. And she really got in at a good time. Like when she
Right.
started posting yoga, like I don't know what year it was, but it was before all this, like the whole content creating being like a lot of people's drive and dream and whatever. And so she really got in at the perfect opportunity to grow a yoga channel, and her stuff is so relatable too.
Yes, it
So
is.
I love that. Yeah, I've like thought about it because she is huge on there.
Huge.
It's like insane how many people she has watch her stuff. I know so many people like in my personal life that like to watch her stuff, and I would love to get to a point where my place is more of a community, like how hers is,
Yeah.
and safe space, because I do feel like I have a community, but it's a lot of, people just complimenting me and my practice, and that's fine. I would love to have more people that are actually practicing and like actually sharing their thoughts and opinions on how the practice makes them feel, and
Yeah.
like, connecting with others as well, because that's huge too.
Yeah. I actually I actually have a great idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about it here. We're going to when we stop recording, I'm going to talk to you about
Sounds
it.
good.
We'll talk about it
Awesome. Yes.
offline. But
Yeah.
cuz I was like, the light bulb was like bling. I was like, oops. Like
Love when that happens though.
yeah, it's just like what you're telling me. I'm like, okay, there are two worlds here.
Yes.
And
Oh,
there's something. Anyways, I'll talk to you about it, but
yes. Yes.
I think I love the conflict that you're experiencing, because I think conflict is good when you accept it as a
Mhm.
growth mechanism
It
for
is,
that.
that's exactly how I'm looking at it. It's just a one woman show over here. So like I don't have any help with anything. And so like when it comes to figuring out what direction I do want to go in, it's hard because
Yeah.
I like can't really get any input from, I can ask, people for advice, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to like, what are you wanting to do? Where do you see yourself? And like, what type of energy do you want to be putting out and receiving?
Yeah.
That is a huge question that I've asked myself a lot this year specifically, which is kind of what has catered me to kind of shift a little bit on my platform. But yeah, well, I'm excited to hear your little light bulb idea.
Oh yeah,
So
I gotta. We'll be talking about it.
don't
Like,
forget about
and no,
it.
I will not forget about this.
Okay.
But it's interesting. Well, I was gonna let me go back to the email thing. So like when I reach out to people to be on the show, like that really interests me, and like I have this yoga month coming up in January, and I found it interesting. It's very difficult to get in touch with people to do things like podcasts, because I see them and I go, wow, you have some good stuff, but no one knows them actually. And
Yeah.
so, like, you are one of the only people that actually put your information out there. And the other astounding thing is you got back to me very quickly, which
Yeah.
I am not used to with people
Really?
at all.
Really?
No,
That's crazy.
I
People
like
should
at
follow
all.
their emails.
Why do you even put email out there if you're not going to answer it? Like,
Yeah, no, that exactly. I will say I can be bad at responding, but I usually get back to people within 3 days. Like that's like my mark. Like you got to
Yeah.
say something within 72
It was
hours.
definitely quicker than that. I mean, it was
Yeah.
pretty immediate.
Well, told you I was eager to be on a podcast. I was like, wait. And it was just like shocked me to see it just drop into my email, you know,
Yeah.
because I've been thinking about it. And then it just was like manifestation, it's here.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then when I clicked like your stuff to see what all you've done and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, this is like a good fit. So yeah, that's why I got back so quick.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I email people all the time, or people send, at this point, people are sending me guests all the time. And I got to really feel it. But I like when
Right.
there's an interaction and the person's like, yeah, I got your message. I'm
Yeah.
looking at like that to me is like, okay, we're pulling each other here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're the only one who
Yeah.
cares or is even trying to like attempt to get it going, because that's
Right.
like not reciprocal like at all. So
Yeah. And like I said, you have a story and you're telling it through yoga in your videos. But then again, like, well, what's the other aspect of this? Who is Suzie Ray? Who is
yeah,
Suzie Ray? And like, I like to tell those stories of people.
yeah, yeah. I've definitely have wanted to like kind of post more content similar to my day in the life vlog, where it's just more personable. And so stuff like this falls right in line with that, you know, and this is like a really good way for me to like get used to like talking more about me and like what I do and whatever. It just, like I said, it can be scary putting yourself out there, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like people don't even know me, but they're already so judgmental. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
like I've had to like literally, like I don't normally reply to people in comments. Sometimes I'll reply, like, well, I reply to the nice ones, but like I'm talking about the negative ones. I don't
Yeah.
usually reply to those, but like sometimes I'll just literally be like, why are you on my channel?
Right.
Like, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, like you don't need to be here. Or I'll just say, like, I always say that energy is not welcome here. Take it elsewhere. Like, just leave it at that. And I hope that someone else will see that and will be like, this is like a positive space. Like, I literally do not have any room for negative
Yeah.
energy on my page. I think people too, when it's a public space, they just feel like they can say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with that concept of the internet is public, deal with the backlash. I do not agree with that, simply because if I was in public, like in front of these people, they would not say this stuff to me. You know,
No.
it's just because you are behind a screen doesn't matter. If like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of people use that excuse though. They'll just be like, you posted on the internet, so expect backlash. I get what they're saying, but I'm like, no, because that's how you condone it. And that's not me. I have a
Yeah.
backbone. So yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think it's important to tell the story, because if the story is only this tiny sliver of your
Yeah.
life, and people, it leaves a lot for, it's tough. It's wrong what people are doing when they do that.
Right.
But it leaves a lot to imagine. People start filling in the spaces.
Yes, they do.
And then whatever that is, it's crazy a lot of the times, but it's like, okay, tell the story. Then there's less of a space to fill to make these weird ideas. Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Like even just thinking about, like, I've been practicing for probably 6 years now and teaching for 4, I think 4 years. What year is it? 2022. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, so about 4 years. And the reason I even got into yoga was because of back pain. Now it's non-existent, which is like so crazy to me. I have minor scoliosis, so that is like what really got me to want to do yoga in the first place. And then I just got my teaching certification and then just started posting online all the time. And it took a while to get traction. Like COVID is what helped me, to be completely, I think COVID helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but people wouldn't know all this unless they were to try and find some old post on my Instagram where I talked about it, and actually I archived a lot of my stuff. Like when I archived a lot of my YouTube videos, I did the same on my Instagram and kind of just started to switch gears a little bit, because I was posting a lot of like sexier stuff, which I still do because that's within my own practice. But it's the edge we've
It's
talked
the
about
edge.
earlier.
Yeah.
It's like really hard to go down that route and be taken seriously, to be completely honest, right? So even though like my personal practice does have a little like sexy, sensual, whatever word you want to use, just naturally, people will either take that and judge it or take it and be inspired. And really,
Yeah.
I'm here for the ones that are inspired by my content
Yeah.
and whatever. Because I really like, yoga is the one thing that has like given me so much confidence within myself, my body, and like I could give shit what any other person
Yeah.
has to tell me about it, because it's like, you don't know what it's taken to get to this point and for me to even feel the way I do while I practice and even share this with you guys, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So but you're absolutely right. Like I mean, I've done it. Like I look at influencers and I'm like making preconceived like assumptions, and then maybe I see them talk one day and I'm like, wow, that is not what I expected at all. And like in a good way though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't do that as often now, but like prior to being in a position like how I am now, it definitely happened. So like I get why people can be that way, and it can be hard to switch it off if you don't ever experience the other side.
Yes. I want to blow this out of the water. That's my goal.
Hell yeah.
It's a big mission of mine. This is where the light bulb came up too. As like, I want to blow this out of the water and present to my colleagues, like, listen, the reason why you feel this way is because you don't know the story. But on the other end, my criticism is that they're not telling the story either.
Yes,
Same end.
exactly.
So something's got to give on that. And
Yep.
so it's going to take a lot of work for this larger industry to come together and realize like, actually, we could all be very helpful to each other.
Right. Like
But we all got to tell the story.
Yes, I agree. There's definitely benefits for both parties. So that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. But see, that's people, they see something and they think, oh man, they must be vapid, or there's not a lot of intelligence.
I have literally had probably 3 people say to me, oh my God, I didn't know you were so deep. And I literally did not know. I'm like, this is like a backhanded compliment right now. Like, you know, and I don't even know like what to say to that, because not every influencer is stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like people totally, I think it comes from envy, jealousy as well. Like they're like,
of course,
I'm not doing that. I wish I could be. And they might not even have those specific thoughts, but it still leads to the same feeling as far as like, I can't do that or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, you could. Anyone can do content creation. I think people also scared to put themselves out there. And it's like, well, then you can't complain about other, like, you know, it's like really weird how people will talk shit, but then still consume the content.
Still
you know
consume.
I mean? Yes.
I'm telling you, I was once at a clinic one time. I will not name this clinic, but and I was talking to a guy who was a presenter, and he was like bashing influencers and YouTubers. He said, but I still look at the channels and stuff like that. And I said, this is the problem, is because you want to look at a pretty girl or a pretty guy or whatever, but you want to hate on it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with this mentality.
Yeah, I hate it. Like I'm just like, positivity only, guys. Like I don't need to, like, you don't need to come on and bringing that energy to someone's channel, even if you're not even it. Like I am all about energy, vibrations, all that. It's like leave that person alone. But so many people are like that, where they are judgmental, but then still look at the person's page or watch their
You're
videos.
contributing to the views, like
It's like
huge.
you're literally doing like what you're complaining about. Like, you're mad that they're an influencer, but then you just gave her another view. Like, what do you mean? So I think it's like they secretly admire. That's what
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you're a kind of a hater, but there's this
Yeah.
real fine line between hating and being a secret admirer.
Yeah. That's why I want to like get this out in the open. I think we got to have these kind of critical conversations. And it's like even the like your conflict, the struggle. I struggle with that too. Like I noticed on my YouTube, like like I said, I interview a lot of different people.
Yep.
Any episode from a sex worker, sex-based episode skyrockets in views.
It's awful.
Mine only guys, by the way. And I'm like, if I wanted to, I could pimp this and only do sex episodes.
Good, right?
Get big, right? I don't want to do that though. I don't want I don't want to do that. I want to talk to a lot of different people, but I could see how it'd be easy to just fall into that,
Absolutely. I mean, money talks, like at the end of the day, and especially with everything going on right now, like people, it's even easier to fall into that trap. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, you go on my videos and if you look at where the most replayed spots are, it's like, really, guys? Like, of course you're doing that at this part. Like, seriously. Like, I feel like guys literally go to my videos, watch the ad, and then they just take their little cursor and wait till they see something juicy. And then I'm just like, it's like, I don't want to complain at the same time because I make money off of it, but it's also like annoying at the same time. Like, I won't lie, because it's like, do the freaking yoga. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care if people watch, but it is once you get one comment from someone, that just brings them all out because they feel more confident to say more. But like, and I also get why people would want to watch a video about sex workers, because it is something that isn't publicly talked about a lot. So like, that is the flip side to it. Like, I would even probably watch it.
Oh yeah,
like,
I got a couple of those.
Yeah. So because I am all for sex work, so supportive, and it's interesting to hear people's journeys, and like, because everyone's different and like how they do things. And so yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it's just difficult. Like and after my yoga month, I'm doing all themes next year.
Yeah.
And February is all like sex work, sex therapy, research, like a variety of that. And I'm telling you, I know it's going to be my best month. I guarantee.
Awesome. That is
I guarantee you.
And then maybe, because you'll have traction, obviously, from that month that will lead into your other videos as well.
Sure.
That's just always what happens. So even if you know that, that's the type of content that gets you more views and whatever, and you post a little bit more of that, it's like, it's still a part of your brand. You know what I mean? Whatever, if they want to watch it, cool. It's always going to be there though. That's something that I've realized is like, even if I like didn't post my self-love series in a bikini, I would still get these comments. So it's just kind of like, it's always going to be there. Men are always going to be men. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I think it really comes down to people just being respectful about it. Like, intention is everything. There's nothing wrong with looking at a pretty woman or like wanting to hear more about sex work and like sexual stuff in general. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, intention is everything. So a lot of people, they aren't in tune with themselves enough to go deeper and like look at it in a more positive light, rather than just like, oh, it's sex, or she's showing her body, there's her ass cheeks. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, there's way more to it than that. And maybe they will go a little deeper after hearing like some of these stories from people that you interview. You never know. It could really click for someone.
You never know. I just think the story is so important. We're all doing storytelling. We're just doing it in different ways.
I love that though. I love that you want to tell people stories. Like that's huge. And I love that you like have themes and stuff, like to go in different areas so that you're not so stuck in one niche, because that's awesome. I love that. It's
Yeah.
like that means you never know like what's coming next in
Never.
it, which like people want, you know, people want to be on their feet, and they also like familiarity, but it's already familiar because it's you
Yeah.
and an interview and whatever. So
Yeah, exactly. It's just what type of story is it? And, some of the stories connect, some of them don't. But for me, it always connects because I'm getting interaction with other people
exactly.
and I'm getting to learn what's behind the curtain. And that was kind of my thing. I wanted to know what's behind the curtain here.
Right, right.
That's what, how is the sausage made? It's like,
Right. Um, that's like the fun stuff to learn about too. It's like people love behind the scenes. They love learning a little bit more, no matter who it is. I mean, I'm the
yeah.
same way.
Well,
Definitely.
listen, Suzie, great job. I mean, like,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
please tell everyone how they could connect with you, learn more about you and yoga. And you're gonna, when you listen and watch this, you're gonna get way more of Suzie than you've been getting. I'm telling you.
So, if you would like to practice with me, I have a few different options. Of course, YouTube, that's where the free content is at. And I also do private sessions, both online and in person. You can also get customized classes. So, if an online, like live thing is not your thing and you want a pre recorded class, I do offer that as well. Reach out to me at my email, SuzieRayYoga@gmail.com. You can also head to my website at SuzieRay.com. And I will also have yoga classes on an app here soon. By the end of the year, I'm aiming before Christmas. So, and that will have pre-recorded classes and all of that. If you want long classes, like up to an hour, that will be your place. But head to my website, email, all of that good stuff.
Suzie Ray, everyone. Thank you, Suzie.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it.